Welcome to the men's room. This is a episode 2 of prepping. I'm gonna have more guests on. Appalachian American will be on shortly. But first off, what in the comments? Please leave. What are you putting in your escape bag? The bag that you grab when everything goes down. I think Appalachian American, he just sent me a picture earlier about a knife. And I'd love to hear everybody else's comments on what kind of knife would you bring? What brand? Pocket knife, Swiss Army knife? What is your go-to? And what else would you put in the bag? Me personally, water purification system. They have little handheld ones that you can drink water out of. Let me see if I can get a picture up here of the knife I would like to get for such a bag. It's not in my files. Well, anyways, also, what is type of bunkers would you like to see? Would you want to underground bunker? They have some that are above ground. I'm more into above ground bunkers. Actually, where I live, there's about an hour away from here. There's an actual house that's buried halfway under the ground. That'd be a pretty cool bunker. Let's see here. Let's see. Is there if you do get a first aid kit, get a make sure it has a sewing needle and thread just in case. A lot of first aid kits don't have that, but in a crisis it may come in handy. Trying to find y'all a knife set that's would be good to have. Let's see here. Looking at some knives, and it's funny, you go on Google search and it's like nonstop Wish knives. Please don't buy no knives from Wish. I wouldn't suggest that. eBay's got some decent ones though. But you're looking for more hunting style, not something just fancy. Fancy really wouldn't matter in that situation. Also pack rope. Rope would be great in a situation like that. Let's see if I can find a good one. It's not letting me save the image. That's great. Let's see here. I'll be looking up some waterproofing stuff too. Water purification systems, just to give y'all images on them. Let me see here if I can get this picture up. Sorry, it's taking a minute. Wow, I'm trying to find this. Has anybody seen? Oh, we got some. First aid kit is key. That is right. And Appalachian American said he was on his way. And meds are very important. Very, very important. I'm trying to see if I can find a good hunting knife. See, the bad part is everybody goes for the looks of the knives. They don't even look at the functions anymore. Here we go. Let me see here. For some reason they're not popping up today. Oh, here we go. This would be a great one to have for self-defense. Don't know about making shelters or anything like that. Food, water, exactly. Oh, Appalachian American's on. Hey, man.
What's up, dude? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh man, I'm lagging up real bad. You're like roboting out.
See, I may be roboting out, but you're not roboting out.
I can't see anything on your side. All I can see is me.
I don't know.
Dang, oh man. I must be. Hang on, let me see if I can try. The Wi-Fi is like pretty bad right here.
Ooh, you in the hot tub, ain't you?
So what's up, man? Where's everybody at?
I don't know. I tried to text Adam, but he may his dog may be having puppies, so it's understandable.
I didn't hear a word you just said. I just heard
I don't
Let's
know
see what I
why.
can do to try to cut some of this down. Dude, it's my end because I'm up in the middle of nowhere.
That's true.
I'm sitting out in the hot tub right now.
But
Do you have your camera on?
Yeah, I have my camera on.
I can't see you or nothing. It's just a black screen on your side.
Ooh.
There it is.
Hopefully it's a little better. Can you hear me?
Yeah, this thing sucks, man. It's not working. It's not want to work right. I'm too far away from Wi-Fi. fine. The signal up here blows.
Yeah, your camera's starting to mess up a little.
I was trying to be. Is that any better?
It's a little better, yeah.
You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No, I can't really hear you. You're not moving very much for me. Like, this sucks. I'm gonna have to just I'm gonna have to go back up to the house and like sit on a balcony or something. Get closer to the Wi-Fi.
All right, man. Well, do you just want to enjoy your vacation and we pick up when you get back?
I still don't know what you're saying.
I
So
can call you, but we're having technical difficulties. He'll be right back. So yes, AM and FM radio would be great with the light. Lanterns for short term. I think a great thing people should do is learn how to light a fire more than one way. Not just with a stick and rubbing it. Trying to find flint rock will be good. Learning how to use a magnifying glass to start a fire would be great. Wouldn't be so good during the winter if it's overcast and everything. It'd be hard to start with there, but that's why you should learn multiple ways. Tools and gloves would be great. My hands are more like leather, so I don't ever use gloves. Simple tools, probably some chisels, hammers, depending on where you're at, screwdrivers, wrenches, ratchets. Don't overkill yourself with tools, but the basics is what you really need. Let me see here. Last episode of the preppers, we talked about food, which is really something you gotta get used to. Really need to get used to that. If you can get your hands on a cheap solar power panel, would be great to charge necessary items. Let's see here. Flare gun would be great to own. I don't know if people can own them or not, but it would be nice to own a flare gun. Let's see here. Oh, apparently you can. A survival manual. I would get some literature with stuff you can eat in the woods and stuff you can't. Get something that's waterproof to keep matches and stuff in. The basics. I think there's more to prepping than people really think. I did find a fun fact that what they used to do back in the day is they'll take, when their boots got wet, they'd put rocks in the fire. Hey, man.
What up, dude? You by yourself?
Yeah, Seth was supposed to be on, but he's having problems with the internet. And then Adam is, I I don't know if he's having puppies or not, but he's was one of the things that may make him not be able to come on the show.
He's having puppies.
Well, his dog's having puppies, but they're his puppies.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. That could be taken the wrong way.
That could be taken the wrong way.
His dog's having puppies, but they're his puppies.
They start coming out with his heads. He's going to have some FBI's asking questions.
Oh, that poor mama dog.
So, we're talking about gear you should take if you're ever like a go bag. Like when stuff first hits the fan and you got to leave your house, what are you going to carry with you?
Well, first and foremost, just make it known to the listeners out there that I'm no expert. So if I say anything wrong, I don't want anybody to think I think I'm some survival expert. But oh, there he is. I feel like you're lip syncing like a love song to me. It's like you're singing As Long As You Love Me. This is a very different
still
angle.
bad?
Oh, we can hear you now.
Oh, there you go. What's wrong with your computer?
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too quiet?
Where's your computer at?
Let's see. Yeah. It's at...
And there he goes.
Oh, he's out of town, isn't he?
Yeah.
Where's he at? Tennessee?
Is any better?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, Gatlinburg.
That's right. That's right. I remember you were going out of town. I completely.
Well, if you can hear me, that's whatever.
But we don't get to see that beautiful face. Man, oh man.
I know. I can't really see y'all because it's just like frozen. Tommy's all frozen with his eyes closed.
We can actually hear you good now.
Yeah, you sound good. How do I sound?
Well, good. I cut my camera off so that way it would. What happened?
Justin's got the perfect radio.
Did it go away?
No, we can hear you.
I hear you. And thank you, Tommy. You're so sweet. What if it was like processing and stuff, and like one night I didn't realize y'all were still on, and I'm like, all right, well, time for bed. Let me turn off my processor, and it's like, I'm coming, baby. Be there in a minute. Jesus. Oh no, I'm just ordered a ton more equipment for my studio, so it is going to be right here soon. I'm literally creating 2 studios in one because I need a different studio for voiceover compared to podcasting. So gonna have like you'll buy one of those boxes that you put over your, like you put your head in and it just silences everything.
Yeah.
And I will buy a separate RE20. No, yeah, I'm gonna buy a separate RE20 to go in that, and that's gonna be purely for voiceover work. And then I'll have like a podcasting table with like lights.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Now, so in your headphones, do you get to hear yourself talk while you're talking?
Yeah.
Is there a lag in between?
Not at all.
I was curious, does it help?
Oh, I'm going to tell you, anybody that's podcasted a while or been in radio will tell you that you absolutely should be hearing yourself when you talk.
Now, is there a certain way you set it up, or does it automatically do it when you put them on?
If you get I've got the Scarlett 2i2 is what my interface is. I got XLR running to that, but I'm about to I just ordered the Rodecaster Pro, which is this little board, and it's got like sound effects and built-in processing. And I mean, it's basically an entire studio. You legit can record onto a SD card in it if you don't have a computer. So it's like going to take this away, but the Scarlett unit, I highly recommend getting because it's got a built-in monitor and like you plug your headphones in and it'll play back everything.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the Scarletts aren't bad, man. You can get the Solo for like $100. You can get the Dual for like 160. It comes with 2 mic inputs. And I've got that running out into the Symmetrics.
Now, when you said it plays sounds, like could you do like people clapping and the drum thing? Like, what do you mean by the sound thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can plug it into your computer and you can pre-program sound effects. So like I'll program trying to see if I can find a picture of it. I can program like our like intro to it.
Yeah.
So like I can do just like I can on radio. So like I could play our intro, fade us in, start talking, and like as I'm sitting here and it's like we're wrapping up the show, I could go ahead and cue it down, press start on the music bed, and as I'm ready to wrap up, start fading the outro music up and be like, well, you can Bluetooth your phone to it. So like I could take a phone call, Bluetooth, and have our own pot to control the volume of the Bluetooth signal. You can plug a computer into it. You know, it's cool. It does everything. But it's super dope. I'll show you that. Then I'll get back on survival. I don't want to come in and derail y'all's podcast.
But while he's finding that photo, I was looking up some tricks and stuff to it, and I actually found one that you can use somewhat when you go camping too. Have you ever went camping and your boots get wet and you keep them by the fire and the outside gets dry, but it takes forever for the inside to get dry?
Hot rocks in your shoes?
Yes, that's what I was about to say. You put
that it works. I've done it because we went camping and we were going. You have to cross the river like 3 or 4 times, and I have my waterproof boots. But by God, somehow I stepped into the one freaking hole that was above the top of my boots. And I had read that somewhere. It might have been in one of my like books that I was reading. But you take up rocks, put them in the fire, let them get nice and hot, or put them by the fire, nice and warm, and then just take like some tongs or some sticks.
Yep.
Stick them in there, and they'll dry it out good. Life hacks. Good for you, Tommy. I haven't met many people that know that trick.
I just found out like 2 days ago.
Not in real life. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's awesome.
That should be here Tuesday. It has 4 mic inputs, XLR, and you can control each channel. So if I click the button up top and then click the options, I can do. So if I know who my guests are, I can adjust each pot for their voice.
That's gonna be awesome.
Like no shit, no kidding. Sorry, if you look it up, if you straight up like you hit the mic option button, it'll ask you like what kind of voice do they have? Is it deep? Is it medium? Is it light? Do they have a strong voice, a weak voice, or a kind of mid-range voice? And you answer all of these, and it'll automatically. If you don't have time to sit and like tweak it, I could be like, Tommy's got kind of a medium voice, medium delivery, and it'll automatically change the settings to fit someone with that voice type. So I don't have to tweak it so much, just to get something on the fly.
That's pretty cool.
Now, is it plug and play, or do you got to download the software?
Oh, no, it's plug and play. It plugs in via USB. Or like I said, you don't need a computer. You can actually, it has an SD card in it, and you can actually just record it's got a touch screen on it. And you can just record your podcast into an SD card. So if your computer died, no worries. Podcast isn't canceled. You're just going to record into the unit instead of on your computer.
Yeah.
I'm drinking Land Shark.
Oh, dude. That's like my favorite summertime beer.
It is, man.
Oh, it's so good.
It is the perfect summertime beer. Like, I love it. It's one of the best beach beers there is.
No, but you put lime into it.
Yeah, when we go to the beach, we'll get limes and just keep them chopped up and just grab them and take them to the beach. But I like to switch it up. I like Blue Moon. I like Land Shark. I like a bunch of different stuff. Anyway, survival stuff. You know what I did? I don't know why I did this because I'm not a hardcore prepper, but I'm like a prepper light. You know what I mean? Like I definitely see the need for doing some prepping, but I also don't think zombies are going to come kill us all. It's probably just going to be the government. But, which I mean, hey, they pretty much are zombies. So
yeah, that's true.
But I do have like right here beside me, actually. So right across this wall, I got to find somewhere to put it. There is a little chest my grandma had us made. And in that chest, I've got like 3 cases of water, tons of like bags of tuna and potted meat and Spam and stuff that has peanut butter, stuff that doesn't expire for a while. That's in case we have to bug in. Like maybe there's a storm or just something's got us trapped in the house and we can't get out. We've got at least a couple weeks of supply. Right.
So my question to y'all is, do you think the first 24 hours is the most important? Like, if stuff went down, say full Armageddon status, is the first 24 hours going to determine if you're going to survive or not?
I think it really just determines on the situation. Like 28 days later, zombies, yeah. Like if that's going down, yeah. And if you ain't gonna survive, that first 24 hours is crucial because that's when everybody getting infected and infecting everybody, and it's spreading at its fastest. After a few days, it starts thinning out because everybody's infected, and they're all out in the woods trying to, But I mean, it just depends on the situation. But I mean, I think you should be prepared heavily for the first 24 hours.
I've been watching, there's been like a bunch of prepper shows on TV and stuff. But the thing that gets me is like, you got these people that live in the city, which I'm not trying to down anybody for living in the city. But you need at least once go camping, at least rough it, at least once to know somewhat of what you're getting into.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, go out there, cut your cell phone off, or go where you don't got signal. And
like where I'm at?
Yes. But you're in a nice hotel with a hot tub.
Dude, Tennessee has some amazing hiking and camping, though.
I was just out in the hot tub. I was trying to do the show from there, and I was like, no, never mind.
Oh, you're trying to show off. Like, oh, how's your basement, losers? I'm in the hot tub.
It didn't work.
Oh, I love Tennessee. Beautiful.
Me too. We come here like every year.
I've been for work. I've never been up there for vacation.
What do you think, Tommy, is the most important thing? You were asking, so I'm gonna flip it around and ask you. What do you think the most important thing to have in your bug out bag is? Like for whatever reason, you've got to, because I really think in a zombie apocalypse, or I truly think unless you're stuck out on the road, my only bug out situation, unless it's like a nuke's coming or I would want to bug in. I would want to like fortify and like spend the first 24, 48 hours in my house to get a good game plan.
Well, see, that's my plan. I would least, the bare minimum, what I would least want to have, if I can only have 2 items, is something to eat and something to drink. Because that first time, you don't want to be going hunting for your food because you didn't have nothing.
And you might be hungry when it starts, in which case your blood sugar is going to be low. You're not going to be thinking as well. And, that first hunt's probably not going to go too well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always hear people say like, and by the way, again, anyone joining in, I'm not an expert. I'm just repeating stuff that I've read or, been told. But
acquired knowledge.
We're not doctors.
Yeah. But like, everybody always thinks food. But I mean, you actually can survive for a while. Like the human body can go weeks without food if it has to. Now, it's not a very pleasant experience, but you will live through the ordeal. However, you can't go but more than like a couple of days without water. Water is like the most crucial. You can last long enough to scavenge for food, but if you're somewhere like the desert or somewhere out at sea and you have no fresh water, you're not going to last but a day, a few days, and you're done.
Now, I will say this. If you're going to get your go bag and you're going to get one of them actual military canteens, it's going to taste like crap. And there's nothing you can do to make it not taste like crap.
And bro, you don't need that. Get you a smart water bottle. That's all you need. Like when I hike, I don't carry metal canteens have a place, but it is not in that situation. Like when I hike, I go to Walmart and I buy 2 of the, like half liter or liter, whatever side, the big, tall, smart water bottles they have. They're like $1.79 a piece. And I have a couple of different water filters. Like I got a Life Straw and I've got the Sawyer Mini Squeeze filter. But I take those 2 and then drink them. And then when I'm done, those bottles are perfect to refill. And I've got you can go on Amazon for like $10 and get a bladder that actually like opens big. So it's like, if it was closer, I'd grab it and show you, but it's a plastic bag. It looks like a coloscopy bag or whatever they call it. But the back snaps open, so you can actually just scoop water out of a river or a creek. Snap it back, put your squeeze on, and squeeze it into refill your water bottle, and you've got fresh, clean drinking water.
Huh, that's cool.
Now, I do know. Have y'all ever felt what it feels like to be dehydrated, like actually dehydrated?
I've been hungover.
Exactly.
No.
That's what I was going to say. If you've never felt it, it's like your worst hangover.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. That's what a hangover is dehydration.
You feel like you're going to throw up. It's more of a dry heave. I actually had that happen about 2 years ago. It was horrible.
What got you dehydrated?
I was I was purifying drinking water containers. They're real big, and they go to like big factories and stuff where they have polluted water. And the tank's filled up with carbon. Well, after 6 months, you got to replace the carbon. So they get you in these tanks with a big vacuum. And I was trying to hurry up and get back home because I was like in North Carolina or something doing it. And I spent 8 hours in a tank in the summer, and it was like 130 degrees in there. Time I got out, everything started getting dark. It was messed up. I
was about to say, are you trying to tell me you got dehydrated surrounded by purified water?
No, it wasn't purified water. It was carbon. They drained the tanks.
Tommy's the only person I know that could be dehydrated by water.
I say, Tommy, man, look, if you got dehydrated surrounded by water, you ain't making it the first 24 hours. Like, it just ain't gonna happen, dog.
Nah, it's like, now if you open up your water, if your refrigerator dispenses water, it's got you open that up, it's carbon inside, and carbon absorbs like bacteria and everything. That's what I was surrounded by.
Okay.
This tank would be like if you stood a bus upright. That's how big it was.
Man, so you were inside of a metal tank or inside of a tank, and the sun's just beating down on you.
Yeah.
Tank's probably holding all the heat and reflecting it back on you.
130 degrees.
Water, man, especially as you get older. I mean, as you get into your 30s, you really learn the importance of hydration, because in your 20s, you can just live off soda and energy drinks, wake up the next morning and like, damn. But when you get into your 30s, man, if you don't drink water, your body makes sure you know it the next morning.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's y'all know how to filter water naturally, like in the wild?
Look for a stream.
It next to like
waterfall.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of different.
Rapid.
I mean, it's different ways, but like one way I've seen people do it, and is you can get like a bag, or you can get like best way is a 2-liter bottle. Take a 2-liter bottle, and let me see it in my head here, because of course I don't do this on the regular. Cut the top off, not the part with the actual twist top, but the bottom, I guess. But flip it upside down, cut the bottom off, which would now be the top because it's upside down. And then you want to pack it. And there's a lot of really specific ways to do it, but all it boils down to is like rocks, dirt, and like moss. And do it in layers, like dirt, like rocks, moss, dirt, layer it up like 2 or 3 layers. And then you take water and you fill it up with water, and you set your, like cup, canteen, whatever, under it. And it's a slow filter, but it will slowly, all the moss, all the rocks, and the dirt will catch a lot of the impurities, and it'll essentially, really purify that drinking water.
Oh, yeah.
And by dirt, I mean, obviously don't get like, you don't want mud coming out, but like some fine sand or something. And some people go really more in depth with it, but that's just kind of a quick, like, and in no circumstances is that for regular water, people, like that. That's like you're dying. You're sure the water is stagnant and it's nasty and unsurvivable, and it's like I'm either going to die, or then that's one way to try and minimize the risk of bacteria.
From what I hear, I've been told 2 different ways, but I don't think I could stomach it. Some people are saying never drink your pee, and some people say if you know it's a life or death, drink your pee. I don't really know, but I'd probably die before I drink pee.
Well, here's the thing to think about. Your pee is all of the stuff your body didn't want.
That rejected it, yeah.
Like, Bear Grylls has said that it is like you are on the verge of collapse. Like you are dehydrated. You are, like you said, things are going dark. Like your body is dry. At that point, you're not really, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not really giving it anything other than you're just not greasy. You're like liquid, it's just dry. You're not really giving it any nutrients. You're not really rehydrating it. You're just giving it something wet. But
yeah.
Drinking your pee. I mean, Kesha, I think at one point was drinking her pee on the regular because they were like, "It's good for you."
Oh,
Like Bear Grylls and all
gross,
Les Stroud were like, "No, stop!
Yeah.
That is a life or death. Like you do not do that
Yeah.
unless you are
that's why
about
she
to
woke up
fall
in the
over."
morning and feeling like P Diddy.
No, brushed your teeth with a bottle of Jack. What if that whole song was just about being dehydrated?
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
you can always boil water. Boiling water is like a really good way to. I mean, we're talking survival situations, obviously.
But
I mean,
what I feel like is people would waste a lot of energy on nonsense stuff.
oh yeah, you'd have people trying to build like shelters. Don't have to be that difficult in the beginning. Like you can build like just one of those lean-to shelters. Find you a tree, you find them all over the woods, like a dead branch. It's got the little branches coming off. Lay that up against a fallen tree and start stuffing moss and leaves.
Yeah.
Whereas some people would just go out and start hacking stuff down. It's like you're burning so many calories using all that energy. Try to find things you don't have to work for in the beginning.
Yeah.
Keep those calories. Because,
because
like,
what's going to happen is you're going to burn all that energy, and it's going to be like going to the gym. Like that first time back at the gym for after years. The next day, you're not going to want to do nothing.
Dude, I just got back from a bachelor weekend and went to the gym for the first time in like a week on the other day, and it felt like I hadn't been in years. It was rough. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, your energy is super, super important. You got to realize if you don't have a ton of food at your disposal and you're not able to constantly replenish all those lost calories and all that energy that you're burning trying to build this elaborate shelter or whatever you're trying to do, and you don't have a bounty there to eat, I mean, you're going to burn yourself out, and then you'll have no energy to go out and hunt.
Well, and that gets me to the other point. People are going to go out there thinking they're Rambo. They're going to see a bear and have a knife in their hand and thinking, if I just stab that thing in the heart, I'll eat good for a while.
That bear's just going to use your knife as a toothpick when he gets done eating your
Man,
ass.
I got a new knife now. I could try that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. The Schrade.
Like
the SCHF 36M. I've got the original 36, man. That is a great knife. It won awards. Like it was like Knife of the Year and some magazine. Like, I mean, for the price, it's really hard to beat that knife. Does yours have the smooth coating on it, or does it have like the rough texture coating?
It's kind of rough texture. Like, I mean, I was holding it in my hand and just was like, it feels really good. But dude, that blade is so thick.
Oh yeah, she thick.
Like I ain't never seen a knife that thick.
I think it's a quarter inch.
Like, is it feel heavy in the hand or does it feel light?
Seth, I think it's got like a medium weight.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. It's solid. That dude. Whew,
it definitely ain't made to be like whipping around Bruce Lee style. I mean,
no.
I hate a light knife though.
They feel cheap.
Feels cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, I ordered one time because the picture looked so dope, and then it had good reviews that they must have paid for. And I got it, thinking it was this big, thick, beautifully crafted blade it felt like a cheap kitchen knife. Like you could flick it, and it had kind of that cheap kitchen knife feel to it. Like it was hollow.
Hey, Tommy, can you do me a favor, Tommy?
Yeah.
Hey, would you look down just below like all three of our pictures? And to do the layout where it's not all up in everybody's business, because that really bothers me.
Right there.
I can.
Oh my god! Thank God, dude.
And okay,
Now you can see my whole
have
whole
you?
everything.
What kind of do y'all use electric can openers, or do y'all got the old school?
I've got one of
Crocodile
each.
Dundee that just. No, I'm just playing. That would lead to some very sliced up fingers.
If you're gonna bring a can opener, make sure it's not a cheap one. I've gone through so many of the hand crank ones where it just snaps the hand crank part. Y'all ever had that happen?
No, Tommy, because I ain't putting the hex of the world on it every time I grip something.
Well, I haven't had that happen, but I've put the can opener on backwards. So instead of cutting the inside out, it cut the whole top part off. So like I'm cutting, I'm like, why is it leaking? And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh. That knife that Seth just bought, you don't even need a can opener, man. You just
Yep.
Sucker, yeah, you can do that.
It's modeled after the Becker BK2, I believe. I mean, like it was Schrade's kind of answer to the BK2. It's made out of 1095, the same as the BK2. The BK2 is also a 1/4 inch thick. That thing is a beast, but it is a good blend between survival and like if you want to do bushcraft because it's sharp too. It'll hold an edge.
Now, see, I got the little knife sharpener thing, and I use that. But I'll be honest, I don't really know much about sharpening.
What kind of knife sharpener did you get?
I actually got it off the Snap-on truck. It's just got like 2 little pieces, and the knife goes in between.
I've got I've got 2 different. I got the Work Sharp. I want the Work Sharp Ken Onion, which is the electric one. You like cut it on and you pull it through. I mean, that thing's supposed to be a beast, but I've got the Work Sharp like field one, which is like little and it works good. I mean, it's not gonna. Well, it has gotten some knives shaving sharp, but it is not gonna. It just depends on the knife and the blade, the grind angle, and all of that. But the Work Sharp Station, which comes with a lot more, that thing, man. I mean, unless you've just got a really weird grind angle, you can take and put some damn razor sharp edges on stuff.
You know, they got a tool out where you can test the sharpness of your knife by it breaks a piece of string and it shows how much it took to break it. Y'all
Jesus
seen
Christ,
them?
it's like samurai sharp.
No, I ain't seen that.
Yeah, you sit
now
your
my knife came with a sharpener.
Oh.
I tell you this, if you don't know much
Like
about
stone.
sharpening though, make sure you need a 20-degree angle and like really learn what a 20-degree angle is. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to end up dulling it, or you're going to end up dragging it at too low of an angle, and you're going to end up scratching which it's going to get scratched. Don't get me wrong, but you're going to be putting some deep gouges in the side of your knife. I learned that from experience.
Yeah, that's something I'll probably have to. I will admit I need to research more on sharpening knives. Now my buddy, he had one, and he used. He said he sharpened it with leather. I don't know exactly what
you
that
strop
means.
it. You go backwards on leather. So like, not like stones and ceramic rods, you kind of cut into as if you're trying to take a slice out of it.
Yeah.
Leather, you go backwards. Like you see the old barber shops where they have the leather strap and they take the knife for the blade before and they.
But he was trying to show me how sharp his knife was. And he put it on his forearm and he went to go cut the hair. And he actually cut the first layer of skin and it started curling up behind it.
Your friend doesn't sound like he needs to have any knives.
He had a bald spot for a good while on his arm.
Leather straps are great, but they're
who
not.
Is this?
His name, sweetie. Oh, it's Matt. He worked with me with Helms. He's like a big bodybuilder.
I thought you was I thought you was talking about Hibbets.
Oh no, he actually just went straight down and tried to go like that, and he literally cut a slice into his arm. He wasn't that smart.
Well, see, I figured he'd be the type of person that would do
that.
Leather straps put the final touches. Like you sharp on it, you start on a stone, like a rough coarse stone, then you move to a finer stone. And I mean, everybody's got different techniques. And some people do the wet stones, which is how you get it like precision, but you can go on a coarse stone, then you do a fine stone, then you can do a ceramic rod, and then you can go and finish it on a leather strop. And the leather strop will take it from being like sharp to putting like that surgical kind of, like cut you and you don't even feel it when it cuts you type sharp.
Because it doesn't drag the skin.
Right. It just slices right in.
Because it's funny, I'll try to sharpen a knife and I'll get the piece of paper out and go like that and it won't cut it. Or it'll cut halfway and then tear.
That tops, what is it? No, that SE6 I got, man. I'm telling you, that is the sharpest knife. And I mean, I bet you I own 100+ knives. That SE6, a lot of them came super sharp, but that SE6, and I'm sure not all, mine just came from the factory wicked sharp. I mean, I took a sticker, like a sticky, thick, half plastic sticker, and just went just like butter, just whoop, didn't have to hold it, or I mean, just like was doing this and just went right through it.
Now, we were talking last night a little bit, and I'm curious, how long do you think you could last, Justin, without talking to nobody?
Working radio, so I'm used to talking with nobody, with nobody immediately in front of me listening.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, people are listening, but I don't see them. So I'm used to sitting in a room and talking to myself. So I think I'd be all right.
I was curious. I was like, I don't know how good I'll do. I don't know if I'd go slowly insane or what.
You got to talk to yourself, man. Like every study ever has said, talking to yourself, we associate it with crazy people, but it's actually very good for your mental health. Like to talk to yourself, not necessarily walk around having full out conversations in public, but like conversate with yourself. Absolutely. It's good for you. Dude, I bet by day 5, I'd be banging Wilson. Damn, Wilson, you got a pretty mouth. How long do you think you could go, Seth?
I don't know. See, I like to be by myself. I usually like the quiet. I don't know how that would affect me long term, but there's been plenty of times where I'll just drive, no music, no nothing, just relaxing engine noises.
I love that, man. I do that for work. Like sometimes if I have calls and I have to drive like 30, 40 minutes out, sometimes I'll pull up something on YouTube and listen to it. And sometimes I won't listen to anything. Like I'll just ride and like, I don't even think about anything. Like I just ride.
Well, have you ever done that when you get home from work and you just, you pull in and you just sit there in the car and think, like you have nothing planned or nothing. And you're like, and you sat there for like 10 minutes. You're like, why did I just sit here for 10 minutes? I mean, it's
all my life. I did that today. It ain't been a bad week. It's just been a long week. And I literally just pulled up to my house and sat in my truck for like 10 minutes with no radio, no nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Was the engine on, like the air going?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I still had the air going and the truck was running, but I just was just sitting there kind of
like, I just imagine Tommy like showing up at his house, cutting everything off and just sitting in the heat for like 10 minutes.
The bad part is I've never owned a vehicle with working AC.
Well, it's wonderful. You should try it sometime.
I've always had.
Dude, I'm telling you one thing.
Huh?
It is incredible.
AC is amazing.
I'm the exact opposite. Like when I'm riding with my wife or my dad, they cut that AC on blast, and I'll close my vents. I don't know. I didn't grow up with AC, so it was kind of.
Well, that makes sense. You're not used to it. I mean, if you didn't grow up with it, I mean,
Tommy,
it's cold air.
I hate that excuse. You use it for everything. I didn't grow up with it. My parents had AC in cars, and they never used it.
No,
it drove me absolutely bonkers.
I'm talking about in the house.
I can't tell you how many times I would go home and text Brandy and be like, I can't wait to move out because it's hot as crap in here and they ain't got no AC going.
See, I never
use that excuse for everything.
He does. Tommy uses an excuse for everything.
You'd be like,
We
baby,
didn't
come
have
on,
it.
give it.
We
I
didn't-
grew up doing this.
Like that's what I'm saying. Though. I grew up without it, but it didn't bother me growing up without it. I just didn't like it.
I mean, it aggravated me once I learned how great air conditioning was. I was like, dude, screw this.
But you got to
Oh,
think
yeah.
what I do for a living. I'm around a torch. I'm
Man, who
around a
cares?
welder. Like,
Who
just regular
cares?
air feels good to me.
So you of all of us should want to be around cool air.
Like you need it.
Now, see, here's what I do. When I get home, I'll take a shower with no heat, just ice cold shower.
I mean, I hear that's good for you. And Matt, who joins me on my podcast, he does it too.
Well, it makes me.
Well, Tommy just doesn't know what hot water is. He didn't have it growing up. So.
No,
look, dog, I ain't got the inches to spare to be taking cold showers.
No, it just makes the muscles not hurt as bad.
I ain't trying to give myself a sex change after work. But no, I've tried it before. I've tried it before, and cold water makes me make noises that no human should make.
Okay, now question for y'all. What's one thing, not including your family, because most likely you'd be protecting your family, but what's one thing you'd miss more than anything if the apocalypse happened tomorrow? One thing you do on a daily basis that you would miss?
Podcasting and radio.
Dude, for real, yeah.
I miss my RE20. It's just like my prized possession here. I'm gonna get a Shure SM7B.
It would be a paperweight. It would be a paperweight after the apocalypse.
Hell no. Have you ever held a RE20? Man, this thing, this is solid. The RE20 is one of the sturdiest. I mean, like, this thing is solid metal. I bet I could beat someone to death with this thing easily.
No, I'm talking about after the apocalypse, it would just be a paperweight because of the fact, like, there'd be no electricity or no nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're right.
They use it as a weapon.
But I would be using it as a weapon.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's cool, but
if you ever get a chance to make it,
you have to.
You ever get a chance to make it by, man, I've got one that no longer works. And I'll let you hold it, and you're going to be like, holy crap. They're so heavy.
My personal thing that I would miss is when I come home and everything, and I finally get that chance to sit down for a minute and have a cup of coffee and smoke a cigarette. That's the things I would miss.
Got you covered, dog. Instant coffee. Go ahead and prep that stuff up. The Folgers.
Oh, Tommy's got my picture up. Thank you.
Oh,
the Folgers Insta coffee, and just pack you some cigarettes away. No, like
your coffee would be good.
We do that when we camp, man. Get the instant Folgers, like the Colombian, or I like it a little stronger, but get the Insta packs, and then you just wake up in the morning, boil some water, pour it in your cup, pour the coffee in. It's not as good, but it's still coffee in the middle of the woods early in the morning.
Now, do you drink it with sugar or cream or just straight coffee?
Man, realistically, I can drink it anyway. Like if I was camping with y'all and you said, hey man, I've got some coffee. I don't have cream and sugar, but if you want some, help yourself. I would still have a cup.
Now,
but I prefer a little cream and sugar.
Now, I do know back in the day when I was trying to lose weight, if you get black coffee and put lemon in it, it helps you lose weight. I do know that much. I don't know how it does, but I kept getting health magazines trying to figure out certain things. That was one of the things I was in every single one of them.
Well, it makes sense.
I've heard butter.
Butter in your coffee?
Yeah, I've heard if you put butter in your coffee, it helps it helps cut down your hunger. Like it boosts your metabolism and it keeps you fuller longer.
But doesn't butter make you a fat ass?
Well, I don't know.
It's like here's this thing that clogs your arteries and makes you fat, and let's throw it into some coffee and you're gonna lose weight. But things do work weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, there's Like, you ever heard much of the keto diet?
My girlfriend did that for like a year.
It's all about like certain fats are good for you and doing this kind of stuff. And I don't know exactly. My mom did it for a while, and she lost a lot of weight on it.
Yeah, my girlfriend lost a lot of weight with keto. She just got really tired of not being able to eat bread.
That, from what I understand, keto has to be like a lifestyle change.
It is. I mean, you have to dedicate.
Like, you just
to
have to walk away from stuff forever.
You do.
Yeah.
I'd rather go on the carnivore.
Most of the time, they say most of the time that if you go on keto and you come off, you just gain everything right back.
Yeah.
Have y'all tried the carnivore?
Very hard to maintain.
The
carnival? Yeah. Fried Oreos and funnel cakes.
The meat diet where you just eat like steaks and hamburgers and stuff like that.
Oh, carnivore.
That's what I said.
Man, that's pretty much
carnival.
my lifestyle.
But nothing else. No bread.
Nah, I gotta have my bread on my tortillas, man.
Somebody said it was a Viking.
It's got to be plain, no seasoning, nothing.
I feel like you still need your veggies.
There's actually who's the one that he's getting in trouble right now, but he used to be a UFC fighter and he's got a podcast. Joe Rogan.
Why is he in trouble?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, because he got COVID and got rid of it using some kind of stuff that they say you're not supposed to
Ivermectin.
take.
It wasn't even. It's not even that. He's in trouble right now for a video he posted where somebody took some clips of one of his podcasts talking about how great America is and put it all together and made a video of it. And it's a really good video. And he's getting drugged through the weeds for having an opinion that America's awesome.
Wait. So you're telling me Joe Rogan is under fire right now for loving his country?
Yes.
Yes.
Jesus, I don't want to live here anymore.
Well, it was more than that.
Right, dude, it's freaking stupid.
He was slightly criticizing China, and that's why he's getting under the bus.
And
China's
citizens hate China. So what's the I mean, that's so
no,
stupid.
I don't
You can't
think
have an opinion.
It doesn't have anything to do with that. It was literally like they put it out there, and it was somebody made it, and he played it on his show, and was like, "Oh, that's cool," yada yada yada, and it was like, America's awesome, yada whatever, and it just, people are just pissed off because everybody thinks that America's not that great.
Yeah.
My question is, why are they still here? I mean, it's okay to have
Dude,
problems with the things in your country. I mean, to be like, hey, my country has some things it needs to work on. But if you hate it that bad, just go.
See, Joe Rogan's a unique person because he literally has a foot on each side of the line. So, like, some stuff he says goes one side and one goes the other. So, like, either you hate him or you like him for him being his own person.
I like that fact of somebody can be in the middle because it's like you see. I hate somebody that only can see one way and you can't see both. You got to be able to see both directions.
I feel like I'm somewhat in the middle. There's things from the left that I agree with, but there's things from the right that I agree with. I think right wing and left wing are the same wings of the same crap bird that control everything. And I just see left and right as a way to divide people and tally up your voters.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
anybody
on either
what
side
left
cares
ideology do you agree with?
Which way on what subject?
Oh goodness!
On like just anything left.
On anything
left? I mean, I'm just curious. Yeah, like what
I'm
do you agree? You said that you agree with
drugs,
something,
except for like bath salts and stuff that makes you go out and eat other people. Yeah, we should probably not make that accessible. But if you want to snort cocaine, man, we talk about my body, my choice. Well, that is your body. However, if you want to spend your life being a hopeless drug addict, it's not the government's responsibility to pick up your tab. But what you put in your body is your choice. I don't think the government has any right to come to your house and be like, "Oh, you're snorting some cocaine. You can't do it." No, that's
But
my view. That's
what's crazy though is your view almost sounds like you want freedom.
Oh, it is 100% a freedom thing, and that's why I say I'm in the middle.
Wouldn't that be considered a conservative values to be for freedom?
Actually, if you look up liberalism and conservatism, what's interesting is that they literally started being polar opposites. Look up what liberalism started being: the idea of small government, the idea of being liberated, being free, freedom of expression. The individual could make their own path and do all of these things, whereas conservative meant what it is, being conservative. It was more of the group, more of government running things. And now somehow in the past like 120 years, it is 100% flipped. And it blows my mind. Like, I remember
that is just crazy.
Like I've got a book. It's called 30-Second Politics, and it talks about what liberalism is, what conservatism is. And it's not a biased book. It doesn't tell you one's right, one's wrong. It just explains how they both started, what era they started, what they stood for. And I'm reading liberal, and I'm like, this is a modern day conservative is what this is. So it's wild.
But they say that the party shifted. They shifted several times. Once along in the '60s, and once in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't like picking a side because but then I hear, what's his name? Who's that Republican candidate that was using the platform to talk about we should ban pornography? And it's like, shut up, nerd. Like, so I can't say like, oh, I'm a Republican, because Republicans say crap that I don't agree with, but also I can't be a Democrat because they say shit I don't agree with. So like, I don't have a home.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to ban porn. Porn's great.
So you're more in the fact of absolute freedom.
I'm just all for freedom. I don't think the government has any right. Like, what you do in your house, if you're not beating your children and beating your wife, then what you do in your house, if your kids are fed, your bills are paid, then what you do in your own home is your business, and ain't nobody got no business telling you what you can and can't do. It ain't hurting them.
Yeah.
If Ted and Steve down the street are getting married in front of the TV and having gay lovemaking all over the house, that affects me in no way, shape, or form. It's none of mine or the government's business.
Well, see, I just wish in general they would get rid of any kind of property tax. I feel like once you buy it and you pay that first tax, that's your property.
No shit. Excuse me,
right
but it's
now,
like
nobody owns anything that's of value.
That's mobster mentality. Oh, that's a nice car you bought there. You're going to have to pay me to own that.
Or we'll take it away and sell it and get our money.
Didn't we like tar and feather people over tea tax? When did we sit back and go, well, don't mess with my tea, but I'll pay taxes on my RV?
Yeah.
Like, when did we let that happen?
I don't know how we let that happen.
Do you know when the income tax started?
When the income taxes came?
Yes.
I don't personally. I remember having this conversation with a good friend of mine, and it was more recent than I thought it was.
Yes. During, when they outlawed alcohol and stuff, and then right before they brought it back, they noticed they're not making no money. So that's when they started income tax. And it was started by 6 females at a church, started it, came up with the idea, and that's what took off.
And see, I mean, all that just trying to see our government, during Prohibition, our government poisoned alcohol to deter people from drinking it.
It killed over 10,000 people, I think.
I mean, that's like no, that's not government's role. So no, I am for, I am not for, That's why I say, man, it's hard. It's really hard to pick a side, because you can name things and I'll be like, hell yeah, I agree with you. And you'll be like, oh, you're a Republican. No, not really. Or you say something and I disagree. Oh, so you're a liberal. No, not really. It's just like, I hate all politics and politicians. I think politicians, very few actually give a damn because they just want the power. They just want the, they don't care. I mean, I can't think of the last time I saw a politician and thought, man, I think he or she really wants to make a change. I just see someone that wants to be in power. The government should keep our roads clean, paved, and smooth, and otherwise they can screw off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think in the last 20 years, there's been one president that actually wanted to do something for people.
I'm gonna guess. Hold on. I'm gonna guess that was Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
No, he took all of our jobs and sent them overseas.
Yeah.
He said the hell with working.
Jobs.
But anyways, survival.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is like I just hit 15% on my cell phone.
15%.
Yeah, battery life.
You better plug that bad boy in.
I ain't got no plugs out of here. I'm out here on the balcony because everybody else went to sleep.
Damn, it's 9:46.
I know.
Y'all are on vacation. Well, go back. There's got to be an outlet on the porch.
I don't see one. Let me turn the flashlight on.
That's going to waste more battery power.
So while he's looking for that literature,
I can't turn the flashlight on because the light is being used by another app. What are you talking about?
Is it an Android?
Whatever.
What would you grab?
Yeah.
Book-wise for research for an apocalypse?
You know who I really like was Les Stroud, Survivor Man, because what he did was so much different than other people. Like, he did not have a camera crew. And I mean, yeah, he had, you know, if he had the ability to call if stuff got super bad, but like this dude got himself dropped off at a remote location, set up his own cameras, and like legit just survived for days on end. He's got a book out that I don't have, but I've heard really good things about it. And I've always just admired Les Stroud because he just seems like and I like Bear Grylls as much crap as he gets. I do still think people talk trash. I'm like, the dude knows his stuff.
Yeah.
But I would like to get that would be one of my choices.
That would be one I would try. I would love to get a hold of someone that went through like World War II or something and see how they survived certain things. Because they're gonna write their problem solving things. Like I know in World War II they figured out how to make radios out of scrap, basically little pieces of metal, toilet paper roll, and some wire. They could make a radio. And there's a YouTube video on how to make one, a homemade radio. And I just feel like if you could read through someone that has went through World War II or something like that, you can get a better understanding of the situation.
A gooder?
You know what I mean.
I wasn't going to say it.
Gooder.
Hey,
catchphrase, gooder.
So I would get my cast iron cookbook.
I'm going with Seth's going to be then. He's going to be fixing that. He's going to be putting it down on the grill in the apocalypse.
Well, I
can't wait to go to the cast iron store.
Our last episode, we talked about people you would choose to be in your group.
No, we didn't. Our last episode, we talked about food, and we ate nasty stuff. We didn't talk about what type of people. And this episode was supposed to be about storage, but no, Tommy don't ever read the text messages.
But no, what I was talking about is what positions. Last episode, we touched on a little bit because we said, what position would you be in your group? Mine would be more fabricator. Stuff breaks. A
fabricator?
Yeah, fabricator.
Oh, now you said it right. Fabricator.
So, anyways,
fabricator.
What would your job be, Justin, in your group?
Man, I don't know.
My job's going to be making fun of Tommy.
Seth said his would probably be cook.
Well, I mean, and to be honest, if you had someone that had the ability that knew how to like go out and get things out of nature and create some decent tasting meals, that would be great because morale is very important. A lot of people don't realize in your bug out bag, your survival, you need to throw a deck of cards in there or something because you have to keep your brain activated and stimulated. Just wandering through the woods, it'll drive you crazy. I mean, it's good for, you know. So
well, see, everybody would probably go hunting and carry and stuff, but you would have that one job that makes you stand out during certain times. Would yours be like, do you hunt?
Oh, yeah.
Or fish? So you'd probably be more of a hunter or fisher in that. Either that or entertaining.
No, what's bad is you put a mic in front of me, I come alive, you pull the mic away, and I just deflate and turn into this very quiet, arrogant-looking douchebag. I really do. Like, I bet people in the gym that I went to high school with, they probably like think that I think I'm some hot schnit. And I'm like, dude, I'm not good at small talk if I don't have a microphone in front of me.
Well, see, my wife's friends think I'm a complete asshole because I don't really talk. I have this ability if I'm bored or something for my mind to almost go full blank and not really think of nothing. And just be sitting there in a room like this, just chilling.
You know, I thought, man, a lot of people always talk.
He's talking to someone.
A lot of people talk hunting, and myself included, because we've talked about like where we would go in the apocalypse, and I definitely have been like, you know, I'd do some hunting and some fishing and, you know, all of that. Like, I'll tell you the truth. I honestly think my role would be, it would either be like hunting and fishing, or it would be, what's the term I'm looking for? Not a scout.
Scavenger?
Huh?
Scavenger?
Like, well, yeah, like I'd be going out on runs and stuff. Like if someone needed to go and get in and out of places quick and go find supplies, I believe that'd be a role for me. But one thing is, we always think hunting, but there's tons of non-meat things in the woods that I think one thing, myself included, a lot of people that want to get into like surviving an apocalypse, we really need to learn what we can and can't eat in the woods because, you know, like mushrooms, there's certain forms of fungus that like you see all over the place and you can eat it and it's good for you.
Grab something poisonous and then all of a sudden.
I was going to say, but if you don't know what you're doing, there's probably something that looks very similar that will absolutely do the opposite.
Yeah, and then you would look like one of the zombies.
I bet you there's no telling how many people have starved and fell dead in a spot in the woods, and not even 10 feet from their dead corpse was something they could have eaten.
Yeah.
That they just weren't educated on.
Another thing people should research is actually how to farm. Because, hunting and stuff's going to be great, but eventually you're going to have a bad season where no deer or fish ain't biting that good.
Well, if you're not traveling,
that's true.
You might hunt your area out. I mean, you know, it's amongst most hunters, we know that if you hunt, if you're going to hunt multiple days in a row, you don't go to the same tree stand because the deer have learned that someone is in the area. You know, if you've killed something there, you're just repeatedly going back and forth. If you do it too much, you'll drive the deer out of that area.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't go hunt the deer into extinction or push them out of your area, you know, so you've got to have other ways of getting food. And smoking is a good way to get food and make it last. Like smoke food, turn meat into jerky.
Now, I like what the Amish do. They build a building and insulate the hell out of it. Like, it's like, I'd say 2 foot thick of just insulation stuff. And during the winter, they cut up the ice and put it in one part of the room. And then the other part of the room, they keep all their food. That ice will stay ice until the next winter.
I've heard that.
But that's if you're not moving around. Like, if you're like, okay, this is our permanent area, I would do something like that.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I feel like eventually you're going to get tired. I mean, human beings used to be wanderers and nomads, and we got tired of it. So we settled and started building communities. It's in our blood to not want to travel forever and ever till the end of our days. So it's, I mean, we need to learn what we can go get out of the woods. We need to learn like what we can, farm, like how to grow things.
Yeah.
And,
now everybody's suggesting like, oh, we'll be okay. The Amish are doing it just fine. The difference is they've had years to learn to deal without.
Well, they've had all that time from not paying taxes to put into learning how to survive.
Yeah. And they their immune system's it's actually been tested that an Amish person's immune system is like 2 to 3 times better than anybody else's.
Probably because they're not eating crap.
I don't mean to bash the Amish, but again, if they're not paying taxes, then why are we cleaning their horses' schnit out of the road?
That is true.
Clean you don't pay taxes on the roads that you travel. It's not right. Sorry, that's my rant for today. On them. That's my rant for today, man. Like, I mean,
I get what you're saying.
Like, pave your own roads beside the road. I'm tired of picking up your horse's crap in my tire treads on the road that I pay taxes to maintain. Anyway.
Yeah. But I will say.
But anyways.
So
I don't have no problem with Amish people.
The government doesn't mess with the Amish, and the government doesn't mess with Native Americans. But they do give.
I bet there's some Native Americans in the ground that would beg to differ on that one.
I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now, but the government does give the Native Americans money and don't give the Amish money. And I think that's why Native Americans ain't thriving as much as the Amish, because the Amish are like basically an empire now. Like,
well, the Amish also are genius moneymakers. Like just today in the office was being told some of the things they do and how they make money. It is in a lot of Amish in our area are straight up millionaires, which you can also do when you don't pay taxes.
You wouldn't know it because the way they dress and stuff, but yeah.
Well, I mean, they sell that they like down here, they'll buy a property for like $100,000. They'll have there's one Amish family here that has a chicken coop. That chicken coop made over $1 million last year. A chicken coop. And they have like 100 children. And you know why? Because after the age of 3, most human beings are capable of working a chicken coop. It's pretty simple. Go in, pick up the egg, don't break the egg, put it in a basket, bring it back here. And they pop out, so they've got to pay no employees. The Amish are genius moneymakers.
Oh, yeah.
Again, though, clean up your horse's crap. I can't express that. Like, I one time was at work going down the road, and I ran right through this giant pile of horse crap. And my whole interior of my truck smelled like horse crap for like a week, and I have not let that go. I was like, if this was crap,
my neighbor has horses.
See, we don't have the Amish down here. We have what are they called, Duncans? They drive trucks and cars and stuff, but they just look Amish.
Man, y'all come down here one day. I told Seth, y'all want to come down sometime? You and Seth want to come down, boy? We'll hop in the truck. I'll take you down to a place called Nathley. It is Amish country. Amish country.
Now, don't they have an Amish store up there?
Yeah, in Nathley.
I think I've been to that.
It's nice. They have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Man, my phone's off now.
Well, if you'd have plugged it in when we told you, this wouldn't be happening. Don't leave us, son. I'm not ready to say goodbye. How has Seth been holding that same pose the entire podcast? It's incredible.
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, like all of a sudden, like it'll just go like robot for like 30 seconds. And like I can't hear what y'all are saying at all. I think it's because my phone's like down to 5% now.
Well, did you not find a plug-in on the porch?
No, there's nothing out here.
So
What in the Kentucky Fried Hell kind of place are you staying in?
I'm at a lodge where it's like A and B unit kind of deal.
Well, they need D and C along with some A and C to keep your phone running.
So my curiosity is if the apocalypse happens, is it going to be more like mountain men, or is it going to be more people trying to figure out how to make electricity, or is it going to be full Amish?
You know what I think is interesting I think the people who think they're going to survive are not going to survive. Like me, I'll be dead in 24 hours.
Well, I'll probably fall or something.
He died of cholera. Like what?
You know, you say that, but like, I feel like it's going to be the kid that thinks he's allergic to water, or he can't eat gluten. It's got to be gluten free, and it's got to have soy in it and stuff. I think that's the first ones to go.
Well, realistically, too, people like diabetics, maybe they're not going to die in 24 hours, but I mean, if they're not able to get their insulin, unfortunately, they're people with medications they have to take to live. These are some of the first people that are going to go out in an apocalypse.
Oh yeah. Well, see, there's a guy online. He's got a medical degree. Well, as far as everybody knows. But he's trying to figure out a way for people to make their own insulin. He's got 2 patents out for one, but I don't know how far that's going to go. He's got a YouTube. I'll have to see if I can find it to plug it in the channel. But it's for situations like that, or situations like overseas where they don't have medical stuff. He's trying to figure out a way to make it. But at the same time, that is the sad part.
I mean, I feel like, too, with the apocalypse, it's so circumstantial. Like you could have Les Stroud, Survivor Man, the man that would survive to the end of the, human existence. And he's ready to go. And all of a sudden, because madness is happening, he's on the way home to get his family. And bam, a semi runs over his truck. Something completely out of his control. So, I mean, it's like really those first couple of days are going to be so in that situation, like a worldwide blackout, or the nation goes dark, like our complete power grid's taken out and people are panicking.
But see, that's my most likely thing I think will happen, because people don't realize our electric grid is way past due for it to fail.
Well, and I'm with you. I think if anything happens to us in an apocalyptic type thing, it's going to be some type of EMP, or it's going to be some type of power failure or a solar flare. Like those are the things I think are realistic.
Or Yellowstone going off.
Man, I think it'll affect the whole world, but we're safe over here, right? I mean, we won't be
we're safe in Virginia. We'll just have 7 years of winter.
That's cool. I got jackets.
Yeah. See, that's the part the problem is if you're trying to grow food.
Right.
If there's going to be 7 years of winter, you start trying to figure out how to preserve food as long as possible, because animals are going to start dying because there's no food for them. We ain't going to find berries, nothing.
That's something we need to learn. Like our grandparents all grew up knowing how to do that, how to preserve foods, like how to, jar foods up, and, vegetables would last for years if they were jarred up right.
My grandma, she had her whole basement filled with jars and jars and jars. And me and my brothers and sisters were in charge of cleaning out her house when she passed. And there was a jar there. It looked purple, and it was peaches.
Purple?
And like the color purple, and it was supposed to be peaches. You can see the shape. But we threw it in the dumpster. It busted. You think it would stink? No, it still smelled like peaches. Now, would I eat it? No. But it still smelled like peaches.
Yeah, I think, man, Because like me, I don't know. Like I'm not one of these doomsday preppers, but I definitely think everybody should have a plan. Like if you have kids, I think you should have a plan for if things go bad. I mean, that's kind of your responsibility as a parent to, protect your child. So
I'm not gonna buy $50,000 worth of
right.
prepackaged food or nothing like that. And I more than likely I'd never buy a bunker because I'm sorry to say they keep selling all these bunkers and stuff saying, "Oh, it's going to be safe. It's going to be safe." If it's like if you need a bunker because of a bomb, the radiation is going to go through.
Well, and not only that, but like unless you live very remotely, everyone around you is going to know you have a bunker. So guess what? When the world goes to crap, guess who's going to get who? Everyone's going to rally up and they will force themselves into your bunker and take everything you have.
Even if they have to dig through the dirt to get to the actual shelter, they'll cut a hole in it and drop in there.
Oh yeah, never doubt the ability of desperation. You know what I mean? People that are desperate.
Well, that's why I like the purge, because people think it's just going to be people running around trying to scavenge everything. No, people are going to realize, hey, there's no cops, there's no law. It's going to be the purge status. People are going to take anything they want.
All right, so what are you? Are you all right, I would like, I'm not going to paint a scenario where your wife and your kids are deceased, but let's just paint a scenario where maybe you're on the other side of the country from them. And you just can't get to them. And right now you're just doing everything you can to survive, much less you're not going to be able to just go get them. Do you think you would be a group person or do you think you would be like a lone wolf solo person?
Probably solo.
It's pros and cons to both. Solo, you less people to feed, less people to take care of, but you run up on 3 armed guys and you're screwed.
Well, see, and I get that, but you draw attention when there's big groups.
I think small group.
Attention. Well, small group maybe, but here's the thing. Let's say you see something happening to one of your people you're taking care of, in your group, you may react different because of that than we would a smart way. Like
but I mean, if you're with your family, it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
if you see your kids getting hurt, you're not going to think about the smart way. You're just going to let instinct take over and just do whatever you can to stop whatever's hurting them.
Yeah.
I think that if you're going to set up a base of operations, if you keep, I hate to say the Negan way of doing things, but I mean, if you establish roles within the group to keep everything going, I'm not saying you have to like force labor on people, but it's like, hey, I hunt, you fish. Hey, I know that you farm. We've been able to pick up some seeds. You can, Steve can keep an eye on the kids while we go, hunt and fish. If everybody has a way to contribute and do a little something, then I think that you'd be able to, and then on top of that, you've got this settlement, and God help a small group of bandits that rolls up on you because you far outnumber them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pros and cons to either. It's really no right or wrong way,
Well, see, I'm thinking of the scenario like you put where I'm across the country, because more than likely I'd be trying to get back.
Right.
And I feel like that would slow me down being in a group too.
Oh,
Let's say that I was just a single person. A group would sound good if I'm like trying to stay in a certain area. I get what you're saying now.
Well, and you got to think, man, major highways and roads, if it's not like The Walking Dead or 28 Days Later where people don't want to be out in the open because that means getting eaten by a zombie. If it's a more realistic apocalypse, like a blackout or, something that could actually happen, those highways and like main travels, at least for a while, man, and like food plants, I mean, they're going to be taken over by gangs of people, like gangs. They're gonna patrol the roads. Anybody coming through, they're gonna stop, and at least if you're lucky, they'll just rob you. And send you on your way. But
and that's why, like, everybody wants to be the leader of the group. It don't matter who they are. Me, honestly, I probably wouldn't. And the only reason I say that is because you got to make some serious decisions that's probably going to make some of them mad at you.
Oh, dude, I've been in management most of my adult life. Yeah, no,
If you think about it,
leadership roles always put you. If you're in a leadership role, you're never going to be the perfect leader that everyone loves. Someone is always going to be mad at you.
Oh yeah,
that's just
not
a fact.
only that. If it's no laws and you piss somebody off, and they're in your camp, they're just going to get you when you sleep.
They'll just Julius Caesar your ass.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't want to be the leader. I will follow behind.
So you would live more like prison rules. You know, it's more like keep your head low. You know, don't piss anybody off. Just kind of go with the flow. Kind of keep
make sure I
keep a low
the
profile
job that I'm qualified for, and I still help out. But I'll be able to have a peaceful sleep. That's my thing.
I'm not out to be a leader, but I'm also, if I've got like my daughter with me or my family, like I'm not going to.
That's different. Yeah.
I'm not going to let someone tell me I have to do something that I don't. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I ain't going to be nobody's dog. I will say that.
I'm not going to be Rick's Daryl.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
yeah.
Like I said, man, a lot of people think that they would just own it in the apocalypse. They think that, oh boy, that'd be their time to shine. They'd be a Rick Grimes or a Daryl Dixon. And a lot of those people simply won't, because, you know, they'll get themselves killed trying to prove themselves. You know, they'll put themselves in really dangerous or bad situations just to feel that they are, you know, that. And then, you know, it's the people like you were talking about yourself that keep a low profile, like, you know, I'll get along with people. You know, I'm not going to ruffle any feathers, but I'm also not politicking out here to be the group leader. Like, I'll do my part. I'll be nice to people, and then I'm just going to go to bed. Those are the ones that are probably going to, you know, survive the most. Yeah,
because if like crap goes down and you're like literally just crap goes down, you're not going to feel bad about just walking away from that group, because they're not going to follow you because you're not the leader.
And a lot of times too, man, in that situation, the leader, it's a fact. I've observed this. All right. So I've observed this. So it's, you know, it's been proven that humans naturally follow whoever talks the loudest. Like, that's just how our brains are programmed. If we're not natural leaders ourselves, then we just tend to look to someone who talks the best, the person who sounds like they know what they're talking about and speaks the loudest. And like, I'm not, you know, but like at the job I'm at now, and I'm not at all talking about like management or ownership or anything or bad about it. I love everybody I work with, so I'm not downing anybody, but I have noticed, because I've kept a much lower profile at this job, because I came from being a general manager to now I'm not in charge of anybody. Like, I have my job I do. But I have noticed that, you know, sometimes it's whoever speaks. It's not necessarily what they're saying. It's just whoever's talking the most. People will genuinely just go along with what they're saying because they would rather not ruffle feathers or say something to make it awkward or piss somebody off. So when somebody just is going, and people, humans naturally will just agree and go along with something just to avoid a disagreement. You know what I mean?
That's where it gets complicated too, because if you have one group, but two leaders, like two of them wanting to be leaders, there's going to be two different sides and it's going to divide. And you got to be the smart one, say, okay, I don't agree with this person, but at the same time, he's got more people. He's got all the guns, or he's got all the willpower to win. Do I want to go on the winning side or losing side? Like, I hate to say that.
Right.
But,
well, I mean, and it might too, it just comes down to like, that might be why smaller groups will be a better option. like people that you know and you trust, and you don't have a large group of people to dictate, I mean, but the sad thing is, man, you just don't really know until you're there, like your best, like you and Seth, you might think, oh, we'd survive together. Great. By day 4, one of you might be plotting to kill the other one. Cause we don't know each other. Well, we don't know the real each others. Like we know this, we know the us that we are when we have society and we have technology and modern day comforts and no true danger. And like, it's easy to get along.
We don't know the animal side to us. And most people on this in the U.S. does not know what they're actually capable of.
Oh, yeah.
Until it hits the fan.
You don't know who a person is until that's why, like, people in combat, they learn who they really are. I mean, they're put through some horrific things, and they learn, you learn if you're a fighter flighter. You got so many people that think they're badass, and in all actuality, everything in their brain is programmed for flight, not fight. But they want to be a badass.
Oh, yeah.
Which in reality, I think, flight or fight, I think flight people, even though we kind of look at them as cowards, they have a much better chance of survival, because a fighter we look at as, oh, he's tough, and oh yeah, he runs into danger. His likelihood of dying is so much higher because he's going to put himself in bad situations just to prove that alpha male, where it's like, yeah, that little coward who took off running, what a wuss, but guess what? He lives to fight another day every time.
Oh yeah. Well, see, and I had this, and everybody picked on me at on our other show. I was like, I don't understand when they had the armies and they would line them up and they'd just go to each other. And they go, it was all about honor. I was like, well, I wanted my honor to be at the back of the group, because that's more likely to survive at the back of the armies fighting.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, well, it was an honor thing. I was like, well, that's the thing. If you're the very first line, you're like 90% going to die.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it just depends on you as a person. Different cultures honor before self-preservation. You'd rather die a hero than live a coward. And it really just depends. Yeah. But when we get back to our primal animal selves, it's just like another thing that I read, which made a lot of sense. As stupid as this is about to sound, I mean, this is stuff I read. I'm not making excuses for my poor sexual performance. But when you think about back when, our ancestors were much more animalistic or just straight up animals, which we're animals now, but they acted more like primates and animals. The guys who lasted the shortest during whoopee time were far more likely to actually deliver the payload, if you know what I mean, because they got in a few times and bam, they're done. Well, guess what? Here comes big stud George over here, and he takes his sweet damn time. Well, guess what? Yours has already made its way. You know what I mean? So it's like, things we shame in society now, back in the day, were actually things that helped you to survive, helped you keep your bloodline going.
Well, I want to say something. I'm curious about your opinion, because I've talked to my friends and stuff and tried to figure out, okay, do you believe in evolution?
For the most part, yeah, or at least to an extent.
There's just a slight problem for me. Okay, so when they show the chart for the humans going from monkey to human, right?
Right.
So from that chart, you're telling me the dumbest one and the smartest one survived, but everybody in the middle died?
Well, number one, we didn't come from any monkeys alive today. Like, that's something you have to think of. None of the primates that are alive today did we evolve from. They're gone. They're long gone. They're extinct. So we didn't come from gorillas. We didn't come from chimps or apes. None of the modern day monkeys and apes did we come from. So they didn't survive. They did die out. There's also proof that we split, and Neanderthals were having sex with much more modern type humans. And so some modern people are actually half Neanderthal, half human. But they used to tell me that in church. They'd be like, well, if evolution's real, then why do we still have monkeys? And I'm like, because we didn't come from, I remember asking a science teacher, and great point. He's like, because we didn't evolve from those monkeys. Like we didn't evolve from chimps or
That's what I was
gorillas.
curious about, because when you see the chart, it actually shows just a regular monkey. To the fact, I did like the fact when they showed a dinosaur, they go, "This is what we think they look like. We have no idea. They could have had feathers. They could have had hair. We don't know. T-Rex could have been a fluff ball that we just didn't see."
Right.
Because, and the fact is they made skeletons, like fake ones, and they were actually skeletons of cattle, and told them it was prehistoric. Can you tell me what it looked like? It looked more like a raptor than it did a cow. Like its legs were actually up high like a raptor's, and it was a recreated of a cow skeleton to make it look aged.
Yeah, there's definitely been inconsistency in that. But the thing is, we only just discovered dinosaurs very recently. I mean, that's the thing. Like people, George Washington didn't even know that dinosaurs, when he died not having any clue that dinosaurs ever existed. They were discovered after that period. So it's like we hadn't even really had, in the grand scheme of how long we've been here, like how long we've studied medicine and how long we've studied construction and architecture, we compared to like our knowledge of dinosaurs and study, I mean, it's been a fraction of the time. Like we have not had that much time to really, so we are learning. And I mean, like with the human evolution, I mean, some evolution to me seems like a stretch, but there's just remnants of evolution. Like we still have little muscles, and some people still work where we can move our ears.
I can move my right one.
Yeah, like back in the day, your ancestors could like wiggle those things to wherever sound was coming from, which we see a lot of modern animals do. Our tailbone, you have a tailbone in your ass, and you can break it.
I did like the fact that they found something in our DNA that they don't find in much animals. And it's actually a documentary. I'll see if I can find it, send it to you. We have the same DNA to regrow a limb. But
I've heard that.
Our problem is we don't have the energy to regrow it. It's something with other animals. They have a ability to create massive amount of energy to regrow limbs, but our body can't produce it no more.
Yeah, I've heard something like that. But I mean, the thing about it is that makes that interesting, where it kind of contradicts, which I'm not saying, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not in my uneducated brain where I would say it kind of contradicts, our modern understanding of human evolution would be, well, no primates out there regenerate limbs.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting theories, man. I mean, depending on if you believe in the Bible, some people believe that, our ancestors were these primitive primates and extraterrestrials came and they mixed their DNA with our DNA to create a slave class and, to mine natural resources. And I mean, it's a ton of different.
Yeah.
And it's really no way of knowing right now.
My personal theory on it is I don't think they know how to really date stuff like they think they do. See, the person that taught them believed this is okay. If you dig down 2 inches, this is how old this dirt is.
Right. Well, they definitely found flaws with carbon dating.
Yes. So my theory is that there's been intelligence beyond us, but something has happened and it wiped it out clean and it started back over. Because
so kind of like a great reset.
Yeah, like the great reset. Like they found a hammer encased in rock with a wooden hammer.
I've actually seen that. Yeah, like the what was it? The rock around the hammer was older than the hammer or something to that effect.
Yeah. And the wood was actually turned into coal.
Yep.
Which takes a long time. Now, in all honesty, what could have happened is water washed a hole into a piece of stone and a piece of wood got lodged in it, and it just resembles a hammer.
But man, what are the odds? Not that couldn't happen, but like,
Not
what
that
are
it
the
couldn't
odds?
happen. Yeah. Well, that's just like there's a coal miner was chipping away at some coal, and he busted one open, and there was a silver bell, and half of it's still cased in coal. Like, it looks like a regular bell, but he hasn't chipped off the other half.
Man, you ought to look up the Swiss watch that was in a tomb. Like, it's looks like, remember back when we were kids, they had those ring watches?
Yeah.
It's like one of those, I believe I'm remembering correctly. I don't think it was a full wrist watch. I feel like it was a ring watch, but it was made by the Swiss, and it was found in a pharaoh's tomb. And it was like the way this thing was, like, there's just no way like that. Like, I didn't forget all the little details. It's been a while since I've read about it, but they've like determined there's no way someone broke into the tomb and like left it. Like, this thing dates and fits, like it basically, all evidence points to it's been there for like 400 or 500 years.
Yeah.
Like, how did it get in there?
Oh, yeah. Well, see, it was not only that.
It resembles a watch. I think it's kind of stoned out now, but you know.
They found batteries in pyramids.
Like the Baghdad batteries?
Yes.
Yeah, those are fascinating. Like a little citric acid and copper, and put like a little orange juice or something in there, like a little bit of like citric acid and grape juice and a copper rod.
Yeah. Now, I'll pick your mind a little bit. See, about a month ago, I lived near a college, so we got all these frat houses, but they're old houses that they just turned into sororities and stuff. And the girls were cleaning out the basement of one of the houses, and they threw away this vanity from the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
I sanded it down and painted it real nice and gave it to my daughter. And the only reason why I gave it to my daughter, the mirror and everything worked. I just had to put a little bit of wood putty in one corner because it was chipped. It's small, but it was meant for an adult. You can tell the way the craftsmanship was, you wouldn't give that to a kid. So I'm curious if, like, in the 1920s, was people a lot shorter?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the average height of humans is, if you come to my area and you go to the Berry Hill Mansion down here, it's like an old plantation. If you go, and it's been remodeled, but it's been remodeled to be in specs of exactly what it was. So it's not like they gave it a modern overhaul. They put what would have been the same type of wallpaper that they took off, the same type of carpeting. So while it might be new, it is. So like the stairwell, I'm sure but they kept it the same height. I was standing up, I can barely get my hand on the rail to walk up the steps. And that's because humans were naturally a few inches shorter back then. Like a grown man, someone like me now, I'm 6 foot even. So in the modern world, I'm not that tall. I'm kind of average. Though I do think the average height, is like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, 5'8". See, I'm 6'1".
So by standards, you and you're technically what I would consider tall. I consider myself average, maybe slightly taller than average. Whereas, back then, man, someone who was 6 foot even was a big dude. Like, man, that guy's tall.
Now you're seeing people like 6'8".
My best friend Joey that we hike with, he is 6'8".
See, my sister dated a guy 6'8", but he was the tall person that didn't concept him being tall, so he was very clumsy.
Yeah,
he fell all the time.
I think my buddy Joey's. Well, I don't think he's as clumsy now, but yeah, he definitely fit that too. Well,
but I think we're getting taller, but at the same time, I think we're getting weaker. Like when I hear stories of my grandfather and I see my dad compared to me or my brother, like it's like night and day difference with strength, their energy levels back in. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because, I hate to say this, but child labor laws, kids started out young.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I started working when I was 14.
We're getting weaker, but we're living longer due to medical advances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're we're able to almost like not create life, but we're able to extend life by, but no, we are. Give me 1 second. Let me go tell my daughter good night, and I'll be right back. Do like a dance or something to entertain.
Yeah. For anyone wanting to know, Justin is part of the Podcasting Dead. Great show. He also had one called Weird Wednesday, which I really enjoyed. And Appalachian American, he put a comment down. Sorry, guys. It went away. Server took a dump. There you go. Let's see here. I'm going to take that off. Thanks for everybody in the chats. I really appreciate them. I know tonight was supposed to be about storing food, but I'll be honest, I don't know much about it. Just basic. What I know now is just basic research, and that's almost common knowledge. So I was hoping Seth would help carry that part. With him going on vacation, it's understandable him not having good internet signal and stuff like that. Probably be wrapping this up in about 7 minutes or so. Hope Adam's doing okay. Hope to find out if his dog had puppies or not. Trying to figure out when's Justin's show come on. Let's see. So it was 4 days ago. That would have been. I think it's every Tuesday night. I'll have to make sure when he gets back, but I'm pretty sure it's every Tuesday night. His podcast comes on. Let's see here. I'm not going to look like that for the apocalypse. Even though it's got like a Mad Max kind of feel to it. I'm trying to find. So personally, I think it would one of the survival kits would probably be good is if you brung. I see like a laser pointer.
Guess who's back?
Oh hey, so one thing I would think that someone could bring in their survival kit that would be really really good is a laser pointer. And the only reason why I say that, like let's say you have a friend, you give them that laser pointer, and someone's coming towards you, all that person has to do to scare the hell out of that person is aim it at them and say, I got someone ready to shoot.
Yeah, I've that's a good point. I've thought of I mean, because you definitely would have to. You'd have to make up for a lack of firepower at times. Sometimes
Yes.
it's not the strongest. That's was it Darwin that said it's not the strongest that survive, but those that are best at adapting.
Yeah.
Which maybe that wasn't Darwin. I don't know. But that's a thought somewhere is that, it's not always about being the strongest. It's the most cunning that will make it. I mean, hell, look at human beings. We're like one of the weakest species on the planet. Gorillas are like 10 times stronger than us naturally. Like there's not a human being in the world that could take on a silverback gorilla or a bear hand to hand. But we're smart.
Yeah. But see, there's two different kinds, and I feel like you would need both of them to truly survive. You'd need both kind of smarts. You need book smarts, but you would also need like street smarts, survival smarts, like hand-on ability. Like my father-in-law, I'm more hands-on. If you put something in front of me, I can figure out how it works, and I can put it back together. Sometimes make it even better.
You'll be our group mechanic. Well, like our group fix-it guy. You'll build gadgets and you'll fix things when they're broke. Oh, then that's a very important person to have.
Oh yeah, but then there's like my father-in-law. He's book smart, like down to like that man don't even watch TV hardly. Mainly all he does is read books. But like for intelligent wise, I couldn't master his book smart ability. Like,
well, and people obtain. You're probably one where it's like you wouldn't consider it intelligence, but I consider being able to fix and build and make things a form of intelligence because it's not something anybody can do, and you have to learn it and be good at it. So it's like people learn in different ways. Some people learn by taking their hands and doing it. Some people learn it by reading it and retaining it.
Yeah.
He might could tell you what George Washington's, what he said in his first State of the Union address. But if he was in a survival situation and the car he's in's broke down, he might be up the creek,
Oh, yeah.
So it definitely is, it's all needed.
Oh, yeah.
Also, if you found a doctor, if I had a group and we had a doctor, that doctor would be the VIP of the group. Like we're getting attacked, everyone circle around the doctor and protect him at all costs.
Oh yeah, give him a good chunk of the steak.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, without a doctor and medicine, I mean, a cut on a branch could take you out in that type of environment.
Luckily, I will say, I don't take no medicines, like none whatsoever.
No Tylenol, no nothing.
Nothing.
Ooh, I get a bad hangover, man. I gots to have my Tylenol.
And well, see, that's the one thing. I don't know if you do it. before if I'm drinking, I'll drink water, and that kind of helps with my hangover. But I don't know. I just don't take Tylenol.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't have to, then
Well, just like I've built up a good pain tolerance. Like when I shattered my hand. I didn't take no pain medicine for it, nothing. I tried to convince the doctor not to put me to sleep because I always had paranoid they're going to put me asleep and not wake up. And
that's a reasonable paranoia.
I was like, I can take the pain, just numb it a little or something. Just sedate me. Don't put me to sleep. He's like, okay, I'll do that. And when I got there for surgery, he's like, no, we're going to put you to sleep.
No.
Yeah. So pain tolerance is not bad for me, but I don't know. I did have a piece of metal go through my chest.
A piece of metal went through your chest?
Yeah. Have you ever messed with hardened steel?
I mean, not that I'm aware of.
So hardened steel is like what they make shear blades out of that cut other metal. And the bad part about it is if you was to take a hammer and hit it, it goes off like a frag grenade.
Oh, so it sparks real bad?
Not sparks, big chunks come off.
Oh, wow.
And a piece about the size of the end of a pencil went into my chest about 2 inches because a boy swung a sledgehammer and hit a piece.
Jesus.
At work, yeah. And it was one of them job sites where like you had 3 strikes of injuries, you're out. And
your boss was like, stop hurting my people.
One guy was messing with a scrap car and cut his finger, so that was 1 strike. And then another dude took the forklift and hit the fence. This is over like almost a year's time though. So mine was like a 3rd strike. And that boy was freaking out. I was like, shut up, shut up, shut up. I was like, my shirt's inside the skin clogging it right now. I was like, we got like 45 minutes on the job. Let's finish the job and then we'll go home. Then my wife yelled at me for like 2 hours about how stupid I was.
Well, you should have definitely just like went and got that looked at. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Well, I did go to the hospital afterwards, and I got to see them they took giant tweezers, and I got to see them pull it out.
I'm like Team Tommy's wife here. You should have definitely went to the hospital.
Yeah.
But you did survive, so obviously while I think you should have went to the hospital, clearly you knew something.
Now I was telling the audience while you were gone, your show's on Tuesday night, right?
At the moment, man, we're not. That's why I'm doing.
Is there a floating schedule?
Well, we do we do a lot on Patreon.
Oh, okay.
On YouTube, we typically do, and sorry, I'm kind of adjusting my compression level as we talk now because I think it's a little too over compressed. But damn. Take you on down. Because you usually want like 3 to 6. Check. All right, so that's still pegging out. Anyways. No, we do Sunday nights live after The Walking Dead. And then we do a lot on our Patreon. But that's why I'm investing so much into my little studio down here because, I mean, I'm getting ready to really start pumping up the channel. Like, I want to bring back, like, some kind of weird Wednesday cast. I want to, I really want to start making it what it was.
What it'd be nice is actually get someone that was on The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah. I've reached out to a few people in the past. Like, I try to use, like, my radio knowledge of, like, how we get guests and stuff. So I would send messages to the agents for like the actors who played smaller roles like Enid.
Yeah.
I even think I reached out to, I think his name's David. It's the bald black guy. He's actually married to Sasha in real life.
Yeah.
I think I reached out to his people, just trying to reach out to actors who were on the show, but they weren't megastars yet. And they're usually more likely to take interviews because they really want to get their name out there, where someone like Andrew Lincoln, no chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What would be easier is if you could get a hold of someone playing a zombie. the
Yeah,
background
that's a good idea.
Just because they have so many of them, there's got to be one of them that would just want to do an interview.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Might have to reach out and try to find like a former zombie to be on the show.
Just ask them how the makeup process was and everything.
Oh yeah, that I would like to know. Like, how long do you sit in the makeup chair? Is it grueling?
Like, from what I watched The Walking Dead, it's mainly filmed in fall, ain't it? Or is that just like camera magic?
That I don't know. I feel like some of it's got to be filmed in the summer, being the show premieres at the, probably like spring, because I don't know. You could be right. I mean, it could absolutely be fall, because it certainly looks like fall a lot of times on the show.
Like, usually they're wearing jackets, but where do you know where they're filming at?
They actually were filming in Alexandria, Virginia for a while.
Oh, wow.
If they're not still already, damn it, that made no sense. If they're not still currently.
Yeah.
But they filmed on location in Georgia. I mean, they've been fairly close to us. Like, you can actually go to Woodbury. Like, now they actually have, like, in that town that they used to film Woodbury, it's like an actual town, and they now have, like, Walking Dead themed coffee shops and stuff like that, like where the show was filmed.
Now, where was the first one? Like, the whole bridge scene and everything, like that highway that was, they were looking through the cars at the very first season.
I'm pretty sure that was filmed in Georgia. Pretty sure that was filmed in Georgia. Because if you look at the end of the episodes, especially in the first season or two, at the end there's this tag that pops up. It's like filmed on it's like a Georgia peach, and it's like filmed on location in Georgia with this, whatever. So it's interesting, man. I'm not 100% sure, but I think a lot of it's filmed in Georgia.
So, how many more seasons is left?
This is it. This is the last season. The last season ever.
And then they're going to do a movie?
They've been claiming they were going to do the Rick movies forever, but we've yet to see them.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you see me doing this, I'm trying to I usually use the 3-finger rule when it comes to how close to get to the mic. So I'm trying to make sure my compression's right when I'm talking at a level that is, I guess it's okay. Anyways. But yeah, this is the last season, and it's really sad, but I get it. The show's gone 11 seasons. You got to know when to kill it.
So my question is, how is the podcasting dead going to grow?
Oh, because we're going to get back to doing what we were doing when we did grow, which was having an assortment of podcasts, from like conspiracy to paranormal to. Because I don't really believe in the paranormal. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't. I don't know. There's things out there I can't explain, and I'm not. But just the way I guess growing up to try and ghost stories always scared me as a kid, and so I guess the way I had taught myself to kind of not be scared was to,
you never realized, you never felt like something was there or experienced something.
Yeah, like if I heard something that scared me or whatever, I would always try to rationalize it in my brain. Like, all right, that's got to be like a stick.
I love for you to experience coming to my grandfather's farm.
Is it really haunted?
As a kid, we would work on the farm, clearing brush, mowing stuff. Really wasn't a farm because he didn't grow anything or he didn't have cattle or nothing. It was really just a big chunk of land with a farmhouse on it. So we called it the farmhouse. But it really wasn't a farm. This house is like old. And it had electricity running to it. He would send us down to go get drinks out of the fridge for him, and you would hear the piano upstairs playing. No lie.
You heard that?
I heard that for personally. He sent me down, and I didn't want to go down. He's like, look, he goes, I got 2 Yoo-Hoos, which was my favorite drink, in that fridge. Go down there and get it. And I was already scared. I got it. And then I went out the front door, and as I was coming down, walking to the side, the ground kind of goes up to where you're up to the attics level. and you can hear the piano coming from the house. And I was like, nope. And then we went to, which we don't really know. No one really went up to the attic, but my grandpa's like, y'all go up there and see what it's like up there. And we was like, no. He's like, y'all scared? He started walking up there, and the chair literally upstairs, he said it was a chair. You don't know, you just hear something smack real hard upstairs. And it sounded like a chair hitting. So he said it was just probably the chair falling down.
Like, yeah, sure.
And he didn't go up there either.
Sure it was, Pops.
But yeah, it's 89 acres.
Huh.
Yeah, it's in Newcastle.
I mean, I'd definitely be down to come up sometime and go check it out. See if perhaps I mean, I'm open to it. I've not had an experience that's made me 100% say that yes, without a shadow of a doubt, I believe in
this. This is coming from experience from a 7-year-old though. So you know how stuff happens when you're younger.
Well, like I said, I think that's why I don't believe in the paranormal, or why I don't want to say I don't believe, why I don't put a lot of stock into it, because I just, as a kid, if I got scared, I would just convince myself that what I heard wasn't a ghost. It had to be something explainable. It just made me not as scared, you know?
See, I'm like that, but for some odd reason, my feet can't hang over the bed.
Oh, we would just, the guy, Matt, that's on the podcast with me sometimes, he was on the Patreon podcast just the other night talking about that very thing, that even as a grown man, he still doesn't let his feet hang off the edge.
I can't. And the bad part is I'll be dead tired. And if I feel my feet slide off the bed, I'll work myself right back up to the top of the bed.
I mean, all I got to say is if a ghost starts tickling my feet, he better at least start massaging them at some point to make it worth my while.
Yeah.
But no, I just, but you know, we just want to start doing more podcasts like that. And I want to start having more guests in also too, one thing I'm doing. So, I got the RE20. I spent a lot of time debating between that and the Shure SM7B, but at the end of the day, I've been using the RE20 in radio for a decade and a half. I know it. I love it. So I was like, I'm just going to stick with that. Overall, I think it's my opinion, I think it's a slightly better mic, though the SM7B does do a little bit better of a natural voice. The RE20 is more of like that radio delivery, if you're going to be like, K7105, we're blah, blah, blah. But so I got the mic.
Honestly, since you've worked at a radio station, what would be really good is even if you did as a sideshow, like something just extra, do a tutorial on your radio stuff. Like
here's how to talk on radio.
Well, not even just that, like your soundboard and stuff when you get it in, record how it hooks up, like basically do a review on it.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Because just like, I hate to say clickbait, but when like you're researching it, you can't tell me you didn't go on YouTube and look it up.
Oh yeah, I do. I go to YouTube for everything.
Oh, I do too.
Everything.
Like the how-to videos are amazing.
Oh yeah, no. But like that's why I'm investing. So like I got the mic, and these mics are sadly not on the cheaper end of the spectrum. So then I've been running this to the Scarlett to the processor, but like the whole thing was I wanted to start getting more guests, but I was like, okay, so what's going to have to happen is number one, the Scarlett that I have only has 2 mic inputs. So I was like, me personally, I'm not saying anybody that does not do, I don't like to on my podcast ever have the max amount of guests I would have is 3 people. So 4, including me, because when you start adding, you see some of these like YouTube podcasts where it's like 10 people and it just gets muddy. Everybody's trying to talk over everybody.
The beauty thing about that is if like you want to do a show, but you just don't have it in you, you add the 6 people and just let them take the show. I hate to say that.
Well, but my
Sometimes
radio
you
training,
get burnt out.
my radio training has me moderating podcasts. You know what I mean? Like that's my
Yeah.
job. Is I would have people in the studio, and I'd be the one interviewing them, and I'd be the one, directing this goes to where. So it's hard for me to not do that. And sometimes I hate it because I feel like, somebody thinks I'm just like trying to steal the show. And I'm like, I'm not. That's just, that's what I did as a career. So it's just kind of ingrained in how I get on the mic. But, but I could only do 2 people. I was like, I definitely want to have the ability to do 3 or 4. So what that means is this processor, the Symmetrix 528E, only has 1 mic input. It's not made for multiple signals. It's made for 1 mic. So I was like, well, great. So if I want to have a guest on, like when I put Matt on, his mic sounds like crap compared to mine because mine's processed. His is not. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to have to buy another processor. I mean, used, you can grab these. If they're used and in rough shape, usually around $200. Brand new, they're a couple thousand. Average, probably 500-600 that I've seen on eBay for them, like used, because I don't know if they even make these models anymore. But so I was like, I'm gonna have to buy another one of those. Well, now if I want to do 3 or 4 people, I'm gonna have to buy another board, which means I'm gonna have to buy 3 more processors to get my stuff sounding good. Well, and I was like, this just ain't gonna work.
What makes me kind of aggravated is like, you buy a nice computer to help with the podcast, you buy a nice mic, buy the mic stand and everything. You start buying the programs to help your show better. And then you make your YouTube channel. You're busting your butt trying to think of things to do. And someone gets their phone and makes some stupid joke and gets over millions and millions of views. And you're like slowly watching yours count up.
Oh, yeah. No, like, I was like, man, this is going to be way too much. So I was like, I got to find some kind of interface with multiple jacks. And that's when I found the Rodecaster Pro. Was like, man, this thing's got 4 jacks. I have mute buttons for each channel. So if I've got somebody on and they're just talking over everybody, I can just mute their mic right on the spot. I can customize each channel for the guest. And I don't even have to do it crazy specific. So like if I know who my guest is and I know, okay, he's got a deep voice, but he's still kind of soft spoken. Cool. I'm going to pick those settings for him and bam. And I still don't think the sound quality is going to be as good as the Scarlett to this processor. But with that said, the hassle, it's just it's so much I can do with it. So I'm getting that. My next step is multiple webcams. I don't know how you do that.
What I liked about, you ever watch Louder with Crowder?
I've seen some, yeah. My buddy's really into into his election coverage.
Yeah. I like his setup. Like, he's the host. And there's 8 different people that at any time could say something on the mic. But he'll say something and then he asks their opinion and he'll go through and everybody will say their own little thing. But
it's kind of like the Howard Stern approach.
Yes. Howard Stern had the show, but he'd get other people in there. And
when I do podcasts in my studio in the next few weeks or months, whenever I get that going, I'm going to tell my guests straight up, like, there are rules. If somebody's talking and they've got a good thought going, do not interrupt them. If you're trying to be funny, you want to add something to it, maybe kind of just over here, kind of wave your hand to let them know, like, after they get done, you want to say something, but don't cut them off. If you start cutting people off too much, I'm going to mute your mic and I will unmute it once people stop talking. Because I used to mute my own mic in radio. Like if I had a guest celebrity on and I was interviewing them, when I would ask them a question, as soon as I asked it, I would cut my mic off. So if I did get the urge to interrupt them for whatever reason or say something, I couldn't. My mic was muted.
Yeah.
And then once they, I'd give a 1 or a 2 Mississippi count from the last word they said. Be like, all right, Mississippi, Mississippi. Well, man, that's fascinating. Blah, 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 blah.
So, see, I would love to have one of them. What's it called when they basically, they do the cameras, they do the scrolls at the bottom, they look at the comments and stuff while you're doing the show. What is that person called?
Like an actual moderator.
Moderator.
Like a person who's set to the side to be your moderator.
I would love for someone on our show to dedicate to being moderator.
Oh yeah, you could have that person like sitting here like bringing people up as they, are, because I think that's something, man. Like y'all have, 4 or 5 people on. If Seth or you is going into something, then what you should do is you got your 6, but you should, click the little thing in the corner that'll blow their screen up so that it goes to that person. So the audience is really tuned into what they're saying. And then once they get done, you can zoom back out. I got to figure out how to hook up multiple webcams. I know it can be done. I just have to figure out how to do it because I want to have a camera on each one of my guests, and then I want like a wide shot camera.
So are you going to use this?
No, not always. I mean, I'll do some StreamYard stuff, but a lot of it's going to be recorded, and
because
we'll do like an MP3 and video version.
Because if you have multiple cameras hooked up to your computer, all you got to do is open multiple tabs of StreamYard. And then you get to go to settings and select what camera it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I think the main reason why, like, whenever you stream, I'm an audio freak. I love, it's like I'll ask Seth's opinion sometimes and be like, how does this sound? And Seth's like, I can't tell a difference. And it's like, but I'm in people that are into like sound production, and I'm by no means an expert, but people that are really into it, we are very peculiar about our sound. And, streaming, whether it be StreamYard, Zoom, whatever, it always cuts into the quality of your sound.
Yeah.
So if we're podcasting and I'm recording it into Cool Edit Pro, or I'm, like video podcasting it and it's, not streaming, the audio quality is going to be 10 times better, and it's going to be a much more enjoyable listening experience.
Oh, yeah.
So, because that was my first thought, was I'll just buy webcams and tell everybody to bring a laptop or something. And then we'll just mute their StreamYard and all of because my interface is what they'll be talking through. So as long as my channel's unmuted, then whenever they talk, it's going to come through my channel, but it'll still sync up with their mouth moving and stuff. It's just, you're going to hear it from my screen, I'll mute all theirs. But then I was like, man, it downgrades the quality. So I want to find a way to get multiple camera setups. Speaking of sound, I need to cut my highs down a little bit.
Well, I think we're going to end the live stream. We went for an hour and a half. I really appreciate you coming on. I don't know how you do it. Do a solo video. I get tongue-tied. I don't know what to think. You saved me there. Because Seth wasn't at first. He was like, he wasn't here. And I was like, oh, hell. I never do good when I'm by myself.
Solo podcasts are hard, man. If you don't have like a script or like I haven't done many, but when I do a solo podcast, I'll try to have like a flow chart so I know how to stay on course.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a pleasure being here. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate the invite.
You want to plug anything?
The Podcasting Dad. Look us up. We're on YouTube. We're on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. LinkTree, yeah. We're going to be posting more. Mostly it's been patreon.com/thepodcastingdead. But lately it's been a lot of Patreon and just Walking Dead Sundays. But I assure you, I'm not spending all of this money on equipment to not get back into it. So a lot more coming.
Oh, yeah. Night, guys.
Peace.